Well, the other day, we were raking, and Emily broke the rake. And I'm pretty sure it's in the gearbox. So, we're going to take the cover off and see what we can see. Because something's definitely slipping. And that's the first logical spot. When I turn the wheel backwards, or correct direction, you can see it over here while it's in gear, just skipping instead of continually turning. But anyways, we got some extra slop and whatnot down here, but that's not it. We might have a problem in the wheel again, but this time I'm pretty sure it's up here. Plus all my grease is coming out the bottom there. So that's a good indicator. So we don't know what these parts cost, but we rebuilt the 258 many years ago. Me and Dad worked on the 258, replacing the dogs and the wheels. And then we also rebuilt the gearbox here one time on the 258. I couldn't tell you when that was. I just remember when we did the gearbox, I'm pretty sure we were on the concrete over next to the silos, between the silos and the barn when we did that way back when. And the dogs, when we did the dogs, we were over here in the old shed that fell down from the snow. That used to be a 50 by 60 shed over there where that concrete slab is. And the snow brought it down. And snow is special insurance. So that's why it never got built back. I mean, hell, it couldn't have burned down. It was steel. I guess it could have rusted. But snow brought it down. So we had to get snow insurance on everything around here because of that. Because we didn't know back in those days that snow was a special insurance. It's flood and snow are special policies. But anyways, live and learn. All right, we're gonna go ahead and take it off. I'm not sure what's going on there, but definitely slipping somehow. It's full of grease. I have no idea how you take it apart. I don't remember. All right, we got some play up here. Got some play in there. Where definitely where the gears are slipping past each other. Well, we got the gearbox almost apart. And we haven't really found anything that's really bad. This bearing here is kind of floppy. It might be bad. I'm not sure. That went down in there. And then we got that bearing up in there, but we got to take the whole rake apart to do that. So we're gonna take a look at it here. Anyways, it wasn't too complicated to pull apart. Took the cap off, take the cotter pin out, take the cap off, the cotter pin out, the nut off, unbolt it down there, or take the pin out down there, and then put a punch up here and just drive this piece right out, which is this whole assembly right here. Came right out. I don't see nothing wrong with this. And then the gear down there, you lift up on this, which has a spring in it. Lift up on that, has a spring, and pulls up on the gear. And then on the other side of the gear, you have this other sprocket, which puts it in and out of gear. If I could handle this. And then underneath of that, you have that spring. And on top, you got that little collar. And you got the nut and a bearing. Get the bearing up there. This one over here, I got to take the bolts out of the front wheel somehow or another and pull all the guts out of that, but I don't know how to take that apart yet. We're still looking at it. It was slipping up here, so it was definitely something up here is not right. I think it's in that front shaft. I think the bearing's going out of that front shaft. I thought this was going to be way more complicated, but turns out not so bad. But we're still early in this ball game. We still got to take that front part out. Well, we got Emily's gearbox all tore apart, or mostly tore apart. We're not really finding anything super bad yet, but I think it's in that front bearing. I think that's the problem. If not, we'll basically just waste our time taking it apart and then figure out how to put it back together. Well, we got the gearbox out, and it appears there's a lot of grease in there. And this is the front part. It's too soon to tell, but if there's that much grease in here, I'm assuming the seal's not good. But we have to get this part out to get this apart. And it pretty much goes together just like the other part. You gotta take the cotter key out and take the big nut off to get this apart. I can honestly say I don't know if I'm doing it right, but this is how I'm doing it. It's just full of mud, just full of greasy mud. Well, it definitely wasn't from a lack of having grease in there. It was maybe a lack of good grease, but this stuff is, there was a lot of grease. Still is a lot of grease. So anyways, I don't think it just pulls out, so we gotta get that big nut off of there to get that other piece loose. Well, we ran down to Orange and got the parts to fix the gearbox for the Rake. And, well, we've been sitting here putting all the new races in. Putting them all in, putting them all in, putting them all in. And now we got to do bearings and seals and stuff like that. And then start trying to figure out how to put it back together. I need to grab my parts, or behind me somewhere. Start stuffing this stuff back in here. We were able to get all the bearings and stuff, and a new gear on the shaft. The other gear we were not able to get because they aren't on back order from New Holland, but we were able to get this gear. On the other one, all this is chewed away. It's all chewed down on the other one. So hopefully that's all we need and there's not a problem. But as long as we don't chew this gear up, then putting it back together, if there's a problem with the other gear, as long as we don't chew this gear up, it's easier to change the other gear than it is this gear. Because this gear has got to go all in here, and you got to mount the whole Rake back up to the thing and hook everything up, bolt everything in. You got 8 bolts to bolt the whole Rake back together. Otherwise, if you have a problem. The other one, you just take this cover off, pull this shaft out, and then the whole gear comes right out of it. So we'll see. Chris, he's working on changing a oil in the 1840 skid loader, and I don't know what he's doing now, but he took the bush hog off. He's gonna look into maybe switching the quick attach to the one that we bought and never put on yet. So, and I gotta work on this Rake here. Those turnbuckles right there are froze up, and that's how you adjust it to up and down and in and out. So we gotta work on that too. I mean, it's only been raining for a week. It's only been raining and raining and raining, but I think the rain is over with now. So we're trying to get all this stuff ready to go. We're gonna get back to it. Well, it's getting dark, and I'm tired of messing with the gearbox. But we got it mostly back together. Before I drop my bolts and my nuts on the ground somewhere. So we will come back and look at it again tomorrow. Well, we have it almost attached. Putting this part back together for the control that disconnects the PTO, that has been the biggest pain in the butt, because you can't get in there, you can't get them bolts back in the way they're supposed to go. It can only be done one way, and boy, is that a pain in the butt. Now, we did not replace the big gear because they didn't have one, and it's not terrible. I think our original biggest problem came from this part right here being loose, allowing that shaft down there to drop down. I think that was our biggest problem that caused everything to run loose. But then you have this over here on the front side, which is really a pain to get that part put together. And then you got to put the wheel back on after you get all this stuff done. So, yeah, it's not been easy. It's a fairly simple project, but it's not easy. And it takes a minute. So I still have to tighten that up yet. And I have to tighten this up yet. And I got to tighten the rest of this up yet. But physically it does work, I guess. Let's just hope it stays that way. And you're going to be covered in stuff that looks like that the entire time you're doing this. It's just big old globs of grease and oil everywhere. Everywhere and anywhere that it touches. It's a disgusting job. So, but that's what we're working on today. I need to get this done so we can go start cutting some hay. Probably should already be cutting, but the ground's still wet, so we'll get back to this. Still working on that. So we got that rake all put together. And now we're working on this one. Hey y'all, like and subscribe. Leave us a comment. If you don't have nothing to say, just drop a heart or something, emoji, I don't care. Put it in the comments. It helps out a lot, it really does. Make sure you come follow us on Facebook, and we'll catch you later.